simple value in this, right, is to give people what's important about their business, what might have changed. I mean, when I tell somebody that, like club membership is up for the 25th month in a row, it's the highest it's been in 30 months. It's this. It's, okay.
Yeah.
But if I actually told you that your club members are used to, okay, this is an interesting one because we had this. Club members used to spend 35% more than non-club members, okay? Mm-hmm. And we actually have a client where that has now dropped precipitously.
Do you know why?
So here's the deal. The whys are a little harder to dig for, but what we did is we said, here are the possible reasons why. One of them happened to be right, okay? Because I'm not sitting in your office, but
right.
The club members, they were being so aggressive about calling the club members, and not in a bad way, right? They had these
just to follow up and interact with them.
They had exhausted like the whatever services these people needed, they
got done.
Right. And so this very successful initiative that they had taken on to do club membership, and they basically sell everybody club membership.
Yeah.
Okay. Was working out, but they were squeezing too hard.
Gotcha.
Okay. That was important, right?
That exact one thing is something that I worry about, is like every time we visit someone, we're hitting them up for something. Is that good or bad? But you're able to say, okay, look, based on this data, it's not working, or it has worked in the past, or
right. It'd be great if I could give you magic wand to fix it. That's still the work. But we were able to find these things because that stuck out. Okay. Another thing is we've had clients, where they're up 30% that month. Okay. And anything that's up 30% month over month doesn't feel like it needs attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Typically.
Yeah. Except that what we found was that we could see that their turnovers were decreasing. So
like the lead flips.
So that's an interesting point, because you think about the time of year we're in right now, why we're recording this. This is the first week of June. It's outside of Wisconsin, where I can't wait to get out of. It's hot almost everywhere else. And this happens a lot, where people say, oh, it's money-making season, right? But the problem is they start rushing through calls. They don't follow their process. Their actual turnovers, their lead flips, their system replacement as a percentage of calls go down because they're not taking their time. I just saw someone yesterday, like, how do we handle this? Our guys are running 7 to 9 calls a day. I'm like, well, you're losing a lot of opportunity.
Learn to say no.
If you guys would just slow down and just learn to say no. When it's slow, you take all day at that house if they'll let you, because you gotta find every single thing you can that's wrong, because otherwise you're not gonna eat.
Right.
And I think understanding that is key.
Right. It's a lagging indicator. When you start to see this behavior, right, you won't pay for it now. You'll pay for it in a few weeks.
Yeah.
You will see that your revenue goes down.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we were able to see that and warn them of it. And, here's the thing. When you say that, and this is one of the hard parts in such a seasonal business is, ideally, you always want to have one truck that's kind of sitting idle. Right.
Like a technician in a truck.
Yeah. You always want to have a little bit more capacity than what you need if you're a growing company.
That's in a perfect world, though. Like, because us finding another technician to sit there this time of year sometimes that's a full-time job in itself, is locating that individual.
Okay, but so I said that equally ridiculous thing. Let's look at the other side of that, right? Is if you have people running 7 to 9, did I hear that correctly? 7 to 9 calls. Okay.
It was just a post I saw last night.
Right. But you're running at well in excess of capacity, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so we're looking at systems, right? What would you say if you were running an air conditioner, okay, at 95% of capacity nonstop? Where's that air conditioner going to wind up?
Oh, yeah. In the garbage in a couple of years.
Okay. Well, what happens is that any system that's working at over 80% of capacity, right? We could argue. I'm giving you a rough way of thinking about it, right? But any systems that's running at over 80% of capacity is running too hot, right? So you're going to lose people. You're going to damage clients. You're going to be doing a lousy job. Like there's all these things that will happen. I can tell you what the problem is, right? I can't necessarily help you hire more people. Okay,
Yeah.
although I can introduce you to people who might, right? But you have to know that these are issues, right? You can't keep running a system that's as hot as it is, right?
Yeah.
So this is the stuff we help people understand what the underlying data is telling them, and we've been doing this with Service Titan, and Service Titan is a remarkable tool, right? It collects all this data, but it also has a lot of holes in what it does.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to give you a weird example. They've introduced this concept of a project. Okay, are you familiar with the project? Right?
Yes.
Project. Yes. And it sounds so great, right? Like, okay, we could do this. We could do this as a project. Except that your database doesn't actually know that each job is part of a project.
It's so confusing, and you can't job cost an individual invoice, but you can job cost a full project, but you don't always have a project for every invoice, so you can't technically job cost every single job.
Correct. We have a bunch of workarounds that we do to understand stuff, okay, and making those at scale. So we're hoping by the end of this year to have at least 1,000 clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of computing power that goes into kind of rejiggering the way that they show information so that we can present it. And the technical aspect of that, okay, it actually makes me want to like crawl under my desk. Seriously, like John would get all geeky on you and explain to you and how it's not event-based and it's a state change. Really? Yeah. Okay.
Right.
But even, they added projects because somebody demanded it. Okay. And then they don't give you the right way.